Hey, Bob the BA here, and it's time to talk about something very serious, and that is COVID and its impacts for people that have immune deficiencies. And this is a hot button for me, folks, and it should be a bigger hot button in the world, yet it seems that millions of people are ignoring it, thinking it's either a hoax or it's never going to happen to them. And I've got a lot to say about this. There's a lot of ignorance about COVID and its impacts. And for all of you analysts out there, near the end of this, I'm going to hit on one thing that greatly relates to our profession that's going to sum up the problem of COVID and why people aren't getting it. And it may not be something that they can relate to, but as analysts, it should make clear sense. But I'm going to start off with my predictions. I have been right for quite a while now on COVID issues. And it's not that I've been doing the original analysis, but I've been taking in all the data from all the different sources that I can, reading on the articles very intently, in depth, and pulling as much data as I can because I had to make choices about whether or not I would continue on with chemo due to the lack of protection in the hospital. Whether or not I could afford to be in public because COVID would kill me within a matter of days. It's not something that would extend for very long. It would just be boom. And I predicted a long time ago that where we're at right now is exactly what would happen. It's not phase two, it's not wave two of COVID. This is still phase one. Phase two is a long way off. Phase two, when it starts mutating and doing other things. And those mutations are actually starting to show up. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to those details. A lot of us want to block it out. We just want to pretend it's not there. Hopefully it's going to go away. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not. And I've had other predictions as well, and I've said them for months now. And I will quote myself right now. History is not going to look kindly on people that did not wear a mask. History will start paying attention to the people that did not wear masks, and they will start looking at it like drunk driving, and they will start looking at it as an offense that you can go to jail for. And sure enough, in the news, last week and this week, I'm finally starting to see articles. They're starting to talk about it, and they should. And a lot of people think, well, no, that shouldn't be. Yeah, it should, because if you willfully do something that harms someone else, that's a problem. Remember, in this life that we live, we should value life above everything else. And it's mind-boggling to me, the people that value, money and economy over lives. That's not how it works. This is all about ethics and morals. And we could go down that path a very long way. But it will actually take a turn at some point. And people that have COVID and knowingly don't wear a mask and infect other people, at some point they're going to get sued. And at some point, they're probably going to go to jail. That's what's going to happen. Because when you look at the pandemic and our inability to control it, at some point, we have to put more controls in. Now, that control word I'm using should already be in place because of something I'm going to talk about later that should be a duh to every analyst and finally tie it all together. But before I get there, why do people think it's not okay, or why do people think it's okay, rather, to not wear a mask? Some people are citing it's my American rights. It's my body, my choice. I find that very interesting because we have lots of choices in this world. And yes, it is your body and you do have a choice, but it is about the impacts to other people. And if there is potential harm involved, that's the problem, folks. So, we have laws in place all the time that protect us. And so this is not about civil rights. This is not about your basic rights to do whatever you want. This is about doing what's best for everyone. And I find that amazing to listen to the rhetoric and people saying, well, I don't care. It's overrated. It's a hoax, blah, 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 blah. Like, again, history, not going to look kindly on that. So we have to start with ethics. Ethics that we value life above everything else. And it's appalling to me that we have this um, leadership, and I'm going to use the term leadership very broadly because it happens at a lot of different levels, where people have decided that the economy is more important than people's lives. Dumbfounding. I don't think 500,000 plus lives. Um, that's not something you balance out, folks. This isn't something in the analysis. You balance out lives when you look at the risk of a cure and saying, well, it could kill some people, but it might save us all. That's a little different. Ignoring the symptoms, ignoring the issue, that's like saying you have basically condemned everyone in that scenario. So ethics are about how the game is played. Ethics are the rules that everyone should know. And, please show me in a religious text where it says that they don't value life. Not going to happen. Help me understand where the Constitution or anything else says we don't value life first. Not going to happen. That's not how it works. But morals are the things that we apply to our ethics. Morals are individual. And that's the decision of whether or not we want to play by the rules. And people are choosing not to play by the rules. That's usually when I say morals have become corrupt. Now, there are people that may disagree with me at this point, and people were wondering if Bob was going to get sassy. I'm getting sassy because this impacts my life. It impacts my loved ones. It impacts a lot of other things. And if you don't believe me, wait till the end of it and see if you change your mind then. We did this in a class recently, and there were a couple of people who said they started off that way and their mind changed. So let's talk about why people don't wear masks. The first is ignorance, and ignorance is simply ignorant of what's going on. They can choose to be ignorant, but once they're told they've been educated, then the ignorance has to stop. If at that point they decide to move forward, then they're moving into the realm of stupidity. And stupidity is if you've been told you've been educated and you do it again and again. The old saying, can't fix stupid. But that stupidity is often based off of other things. So we can't just leave it there, because what's really happening is what we're looking for here is common sense. And we already know that the majority of people don't have common sense. I don't remember the exact figures, but it's over 50% of people don't have that. And common sense is formed by using all of your senses to make sense of things. So you take in sights and sounds, and taste and smell, etc., and so you can make your judgments. And based on those judgments, then we can say, okay, common sense, don't do that. Why don't you put your hand on the fire? Because it's hot and you'll get burned and you can feel the heat, right? We learn from those experiences. What we don't want to do is have that many more people die to learn from the experience. Over 500,000 people have died. How are we not learning from this experience yet? And yeah, here's the problem. I get you're tired. I get that you don't want to be stuck at home, but that's the problem. It's the word want. See, we're stuck in a want culture. I want this. I want that. I don't want to be at home. I don't want to wear a mask. I didn't have to do this before. Ooh, talk about privileged. You know what? I don't want to die. And guess what? I'm going to lose that battle. Put that into perspective. You can want all you want, but it's what we need. And I know a lot of you as analysts are going, ooh, this might be the point where that's the big moment. It's the requirement, wants versus needs. No, I'm not there yet. But that is a large part of it. Remember, what we need is very different than what we want. And we don't always get what we want. Thank you, Rolling Stones. Now, the other problem with this, why a lot of people don't wear masks, is it's a leadership problem. And because people will only take in certain sources, they only believe certain levels, often it's leadership. And when they see a leader not wearing a mask, they go, well, they don't wear a mask. I shouldn't have to wear a mask. Well, let's go back to ignorance and stupidity. Leaders can be ignorant and stupid as well. And in this case, it's stupid. So you have to be very careful, and you need to take your data in from lots of sources. So hopefully what I'm doing is giving you a lot more data to deal with this and make a good choice, because at the end of the day, this want culture is going to kill a lot more people. So here's the deal. People should wear masks because you're protecting people like me. You're protecting your elderly grandparents. You're protecting, people in nursing homes. You're protecting anyone who has any extra health problems. I mean, anemia would be enough to kill you. So any extra little bit of health problems will potentially make this worse. And do you really want that on your conscience? Do you really want it on your conscience that you accidentally gave it to someone? Again, history is not going to look kindly on that. So here's how I'm going to tie it together. This is about business rules. A business rule is a self imposed constraint, independent of technology, that is used every day to protect us, to ensure we are safe, to do all the things we needed to do. Wearing a mask is a business rule, and it's something everyone should do. And when we break the business rules, we end up harming our businesses. In this case, our business rule to wear a mask, by not wearing them, we are harming people. And one needs to simply go to the news every day, which everyone's ignoring because, if I can't see it, it's not real. But people are dying every day. People just like you and me. And people that don't even have the extra health issues. And they're creating these super, spreader parties. Mind-boggling. So if someone's not getting it, try to explain it to them in the terms of business rules and talk about the want culture. At the end of the day, if people can't see that, I'll give you one last thing. What about the future? What about all the babies? See, this stuff is going to evolve, folks. It's going to mutate. And at some point, it will go way beyond this asymptomatic, most of the people are dealing with. And it's going to be even more directed. And people will say, oh, but we'll find, the cure. Sure, like we have for everything else. These things are coming too fast. Even in the news today, they're talking about the new potential for more animal, hybrid, COVID-like responses. And these things will take on new forms. They still haven't figured this one out. So if you're not going to wear a mask for your loved ones, and I certainly don't expect a lot of people to wear a mask for me, except for the people that know me and love me, would you wear it for the future? Because if you can't do it for all those reasons, wow, there's really something wrong there. Please be safe, be well, be smart, follow the rules.